Disclaimer, the opinions expressed in this video are a month old. We made the video a month ago, and we release it in July. It was made in June. We didn't have the Greatest Showman trailer, which even though it's not that high on the list, it'll be even lower. Michelle Williams doesn't look like she's doing anything in that movie. Baby Driver, we didn't see the movie. That's going to get editing, sound mixing, sound editing, maybe some Best Picture hype even. We didn't have the early reactions to Dunkirk, which are very good, but potentially misleading. The reviews are coming out tomorrow, so we'll see. That's probably too low on the list, honestly. I am still holding myself fucking accountable for these opinions. Just know that the upload date doesn't reflect the opinions of when the video was shot. But for the most part, everything's probably pretty much the fucking same. So enjoy the fucking video.
Good evening! The Oscar expert is back with another annual Oscar predictions! And we do them in June. They're too damn early. Every video gets 1,000 views. We've been doing it for 3 years, all those videos that you love and you adore. We're back with another one. Usually we only get a few of the movies right, but, you know, every year we start out confident as ever that this prediction list is going to stay the same throughout the entire damn year. Starting off the list, number 1, it's Call Me By Your Name. Why is this number 1? Because it was at Sundance, and we know it's fucking good. Everyone says it's a masterpiece. It's a gay movie. The movie that won Best Picture last year. It's a gay movie. Number 2, also a Sundance movie, so we know it's fucking good. Mudbound. Mudbound is a period drama, which means Oscar. Takes place in like the 50s or something. It's about racism somehow. It's in the West. So you got those costumes, you got those black actors you can nominate to avoid the Oscars so white hashtag. And you know, they say this is a real ensemble movie, so you really be looking out for that SAG ensemble nomination as well. Number 3, coming from a director that you should not fucking doubt, Alexander Payne. His next movie is Downsizing. This one's about a tiny Matt Damon. You know, Alexander Payne's last 3 movies, Sideways, The Descendants, even Nebraska all got nominated for Best Director and Best Picture, so why the hell wouldn't you have this on your top 5? Why wouldn't you? You do. Number 4, The Papers. Steven Spielberg. You wouldn't want to doubt him, would you folks? You know, I tried to doubt him a couple of years back. Bridge of Spies did not work out well for me. Tom Hanks is back again. Meryl Streep's back. She wasn't there before, but she's back. She's back at the Oscars. Oscars love Meryl Streep. Oscars love Tom. Oscars love Steven. And it's basically Spotlight. And to highlight the fact that it's Spotlight, the writer of Spotlight wrote this movie, and it's about newspapers. So it's literally Spotlight, which won Best Picture. Now number 5 is Marshall. Marshall is some goddamn director who I don't know. But the reason it's on here is because it's a black movie, folks. It's because it's a black movie. This year's Hidden Figures. It's true. Now, you got Chadwick Boseman in the lead role. It's about a black lawyer. He's the first black lawyer or something like that.
Cole, yeah. I feel like you have to preface like all this stuff with saying like that you don't actually believe these movies are being unjustly nominated. You just expect that they'll have big campaigns behind them because they've been appealing as of late. It sounds like you're just bashing them for having black people in them, and you're saying that the only reason they would get nominated is because they have black people.
No, of course not. It's not that the black movies don't deserve to be nominated. It's just that they're usually about civil rights and justice, and they're political, so they have that going for them. Number 6, Blade Runner 2049. Now some of you might be like, oh, you know, Blade Runner didn't get nominated. It's a sequel. Sequels usually aren't as good. Let me ask you something. What's winning cinematography this year? What's winning sound? What's winning visual effects? It's Blade Runner 2049. So this movie's already gonna win some Oscars here. Roger Deakins gonna get his first Oscar. Denis Villeneuve's directing. He did Arrival. That was nominated for a lot of Oscars. If you like Arrival as much as I did, there's no reason for you to doubt that Blade Runner 2049 is gonna be a really good movie. Oh, and Johan Johansson will also win Best Score. So that movie's gonna get like 10 nominations, it's gonna win like 5. So why wouldn't it get nominated for Best Picture? Mad Max Fury Road was a sequel to movies that were never nominated before, but it got a ton of nominations and won stuff. I think Blade Runner 2049 could go down a similar path. Number 7, Battle of the Sexes. The trailer confirmed all speculation that this is an Oscar movie. Emma Stone, coming off her Oscar win for La La Land, could get nominated for this movie. Steve Carell could also get nominated for this movie. It's gonna be a fun movie, a sports drama. You got some Emma Stone, Steve Carell, chemistry going on. Everyone's gonna love it. They're gonna eat it up like cake. Number 8, we have Mother! Exclamation point. Darren Aronofsky is back after whatever the fuck Noah was, returning to form of weird psychological horror kind of movies like Black Swan, horror more or less. This one has Jennifer Lawrence, Javier Bardem, Domhnall Gleeson, Michelle Pfeiffer, Ed Harris, and I'm honestly thinking like 3 to 4 of those fellas are gonna get nominated for acting awards. Because I think that I cannot disclude this movie from being in my Best Picture top 10. Number 9, The Current War. The Current War is Alfonso Gomez-Rejon's follow-up to Me and Earl and the Dying Girl, which is a great fucking movie. Didn't get any Oscars, but nonetheless a great movie. Proved that this was a director with lots of talent. It's got Benedict Cumberbatch, Michael Shannon, Catherine Waterston, so it's got a great cast, it's got a great director, it's a period drama about Thomas Edison or whatever, and light bulbs and stuff like that, so it's probably going to be really Oscar-y. Because of the director's last movie, I believe it's going to be a good one too. Number 10, this would be not number 10 if we were certain of its release date, because this movie may or may not come out in 2017, might come out early to mid 2018, which would suck because I'm really hoping it doesn't. Annihilation, which is Alex Garland, the director of Ex Machina's next movie. This one's got Natalie Portman, Tessa Thompson, Jennifer Jason Leigh, Oscar Isaac, and Gina Rodriguez. That's a pretty good cast. He's going back to sci-fi territory. Footage was shown of this movie, and people say that the footage was like gorgeous and beautiful. A couple people got an early screening and said it was a great fucking movie. My question is, if they got a screening, why can't I see the movie in December? But hopefully I will, and if I do, I will also see it getting nominated for Oscars. Number 11, Phantom Thread. PTA, Paul Thomas Anderson, let me down a bit with Inherent Vice. This movie is Daniel Day-Lewis's comeback. Hasn't done a movie since Lincoln. He's gonna get nominated again. This is a costume thing. I don't know what the fuck it's about. The reason that this is at number 11, although a lot of people have this in like their top 5, is that Paul Thomas Anderson, he deserves to win Best Director. Everyone wants him to win, but he does make movies that are a little more obscure sometimes. Not always the Academy's taste. He's only had 1 movie nominated for Best Picture, so to say that Phantom Thread's a lock just because it's Paul Thomas Anderson wouldn't actually be very accurate. Number 12, Detroit. Catherine Bigelow teaming up with writer Mark Bull. Again, they did The Hurt Locker. They did Zero Dark 30. And they're back. It's a political movie about black issues in Detroit in the 60s. Sounds pretty Oscar-y. Coming out this summer. Has a trailer. Looks great. I'm just taking a chance here and putting it a little lower off my top 10. I still think it could easily be an Oscar contender. Number 13, The Glass Castle. This is the director of Short Term 12, which is a great indie movie. Brie Larson's back. She's in it. Woody Harrelson's gonna win an Oscar for supporting actor in the movie for playing an alcoholic father. What a juicy role. This movie could get nominated for Best Picture, but it might play better in the acting categories and maybe the screenplay category and not quite make it up to those big leagues with the picture and director, Number 14 is Suburbicon. It's a George Clooney movie. A director who's had 1 movie nominated for Best Picture. His movies are always political. This one was written by the Coens. I believe it was written in the 80s, and they revived the screenplay, and George Clooney and whoever the fuck, Grant Heslov or whatever, revised it, and now they're making the movie. Suburbicon has Matt Damon, Julianne Moore, Oscar Isaac, comedy crime movie, like a lot of the Coen stuff. So we'll see if George Clooney can do justice to the Coen brothers' tone. Next on the list is The Greatest Showman. This is a directorial debut of whoever the fuck his name is. What is it, like a circus musical? It sounds like a circus musical. I don't know if it is. Hugh Jackman is in the lead role, just like Les Mis. He could get nominated for this. Michelle Williams is in supporting. Those supporting roles for people in musicals really tend to get people nominated. So Michelle Williams, you might want to look out for her there. Because we don't really know who the director is, it's hard to say that this movie is a lock or anything close to it, but it's certainly on my watch list. Number 16, Dunkirk. Oh, why isn't Dunkirk higher? Oh my god. So, Dunkirk, you might... What?
Nothing, go ahead. You're an idiot.
So a lot of people think Dunkirk will be higher. It makes sense. It's a war movie. It's Christopher Nolan. The cinematography looks fantastic. The trailer looks really great. And of course it could get nominated, of course. We're just speculating how good the movie's gonna be, and what we don't know is how good the script's gonna be. Obviously it's gonna be technically competent, it's gonna get cinematography nominations, sound nominations, but do we know if the script is good? We don't know. That hurt Interstellar, so, you know, the movie looks like the trailer's like, oh, it has a message about hope. It might be kind of dumb. Like, they might have like a stupid message or whatever, and Christopher Nolan, you know, fails on an emotional level again. But as we know, you know, The Dark Knight and Inception were pretty big Oscar hits. Not counting it out, could definitely be wrong on this one. I hope for the best. Number 17, Darkest Hour, which is Joe Wright, who did, what the fuck is that movie called? Atonement. He did Anna Karenina, which no one really cared about that much. He did Hannah, which was good but didn't get Oscars. He did that other movie that people didn't like. He did that other movie that people liked. So, The Darkest Hour could certainly be Oscar. You know, all his movies get nominated for like art direction. It's got Gary Oldman. There's one picture from the movie, which is probably right here. So it's got Gary Oldman in this like weird fucking makeup that looks like Anthony Hopkins in Hitchcock, which was like a weird like makeup thing. So it looks like that's going to be distracting as hell, like it was in J. Edgar as well, when Leonardo DiCaprio and Armie Hammer had all that weird fucking makeup on, especially Armie Hammer, my god. This movie's basically depends on if it will get nominated for makeup. If the makeup's good and the movie's a competent production, it could get nominated. But if the makeup sucks and it's distracting and it's stupid, no one's gonna watch the movie. It's worth noting, his most recent movie is Pan. We'll just leave it at that. Not the most consistent director. I'm saying that this movie's gonna be Oscar bait wannabe, but a fail. And at number 18, Get Out. Of course, it came out early in the year. It's a horror movie, very unlikely Oscar prospect. If it did get nominated, it would probably only get like screenplay and picture, that's it. But it has such strong hype, such strong word of mouth. People are gonna be talking about it the entire year. That's a fact. So if the critics circles or the Critics' Choice or the AFI want to nominate this film, you can see its chances climbing up the list at the end of the year. Two movies I forgot to put in but would probably be towards the bottom of the list, but deserve to be here nonetheless. One is Mary Magdalene, which is from the director of Lion. Rooney Mara's playing Mary Magdalene. Joaquin Phoenix is playing Jesus, which is kind of weird. So it could be a weird Christian movie. It sounds weird nonetheless, maybe a little controversial for the Oscars. But, you know, Lion was such tear-jerking Oscar bait and very well-produced Oscar bait, so we can't count it out. And then Molly's Game, which is Aaron Sorkin directing for the first time, also wrote the screenplay. It's got Jessica Chastain in the lead role. She's going to be fast-talking, get nominated maybe for that. We don't know how Aaron Sorkin is directing. He is a very smart screenwriter, so it'd be hard to count him out. Moving on. Best Actor. Number 1. Daniel Day-Lewis for Phantom Thread. There's no reason Daniel Day-Lewis wouldn't get nominated here. He's obviously going to be amazing. He hasn't been in a movie in 5 years, so it's like, oh, here comes Daniel Day-Lewis, he's back from Ireland. And Paul Thomas Anderson is a great fucking actor's director. Last time he directed Daniel Day-Lewis, it was like one of the best performances of all time. This is a reunion that everyone's waiting to see. Number 2, Matt Damon for Downsizing. I know he's tiny. I know he's teeny. But he's got a lead role in an Alexander Payne movie, so why wouldn't he be nominated? Bruce Dern was nominated, George Clooney was nominated, Paul Giamatti should have been, Jack Nicholson was nominated for Alexander Payne movie. It just makes good sense, good logic. Number 3, Chadwick Boseman for Marshall. If Marshall gets in, Chadwick gets in. Chadwick Boseman has not been nominated before, but he's given a lot of good performances. So this could finally be his time to be nominated. Number 4, Joaquin Phoenix in You Were Never Really Here. This movie premiered at Cannes. It has really good reviews, but it's probably kind of obscure, like We Need to Talk About Kevin, so it won't be playing in the major categories. But Joaquin Phoenix could certainly be nominated for this movie. Tilda Swinton almost got her nomination for Lynn Ramsey's last movie, We Need to Talk About Kevin, but she didn't quite make it. Joaquin Phoenix also won the Best Actor prize at Cannes, which doesn't always guarantee Oscar success, but it certainly helps. Number 5, Javier Bardem in Mother. Jennifer Lawrence is the lead role in this movie, But Javier Bardem is also considered a lead. Javier Bardem is a great actor. I don't know what he's doing in this movie. I don't know if he's like her husband or if he's playing a creep. If he's playing a creep, he'll probably get fucking nominated for sure. He's good at that. Next on the list, Benedict Cumberbatch in the current war. Is he playing Thomas Edison?
Yes.
He's playing Thomas Edison. He was great in The Imitation Game. This movie's kind of like The Imitation Game. So he could certainly get nominated for this one. Number 7, Steve Carell in Battle of the Sexes. He's playing a bigot, he's playing an asshole, but he's going to be a lot of fun to watch. Some people think he's supporting in this movie, and I don't know what the studio is going to decide to do, but it looks to me from the trailer that he's got a total lead role. Next on the list, Hugh Jackman for The Greatest Showman. We don't really know what this movie's going to be, but he's going to be singing and dancing, and the Oscars like it when people sing and dance, and they like to nominate that, and Emma Stone won because she was singing and dancing. Next, Gary Oldman for makeup movie, Darkest Hour. If his makeup is stupid, he's not getting nominated, and it looks kind of stupid. But, you know, it is Gary Oldman. He's playing Winston Churchill. He's got a lot of makeup on. Transformative performance? Maybe. So, also want to shout out Timothy Chalamet, Call Me By Your Name. This is a newcomer. He's the lead of this movie. It's a big Oscar movie, but he's probably going to have a performance that isn't quite weighty enough. He doesn't have the star power to be up there with those other heavyweights. Best Actress, Jennifer Lawrence in Mother. Natalie Portman won an Oscar under Darren Aronofsky's direction. Ellen Burstyn was nominated. Jennifer Lawrence is going to go nuts. Darren Aronofsky has been fucking Jennifer Lawrence. She's going to go to depths we haven't seen before. She's going to cry, she's going to scream, and she's going to be in a lot of pain, and the Oscars are going to like it, and they're going to nominate her again. Number 2, Jessica Chastain in Molly's Game. She's going to be in a fast-talking Aaron Sorkin movie, so, you know, that makes sense. Number 3, Judi Dench and Abdul and whoever the fuck, what's it called?
Victoria and Abdul.
Victoria and Abdul. Basically the Best Exotic Marigold Hotel meets Philomena. It's not like exciting to put this on because it's not going to be a groundbreaking performance for Judi Dench. It's just another great Judi Dench performance, yada yada. And speaking of yada yada, Meryl Streep in The Papers. Just you can't, just whatever the fuck. Fine. Fine Meryl Streep. Fine. And number 5, Emma Stone in Battle of the Sexes. She won an Oscar last year. Oscars obviously love her. She's got a lead role in this movie. I think she'll probably get nominated for it. Number 6, Annihilation. Natalie Portman is the lead role in the movie. No one knows if it's coming out this year, though. But if it does, she certainly has a chance. Number 7, Rooney Mara and Mary Magdalene. No matter if this movie is weird or not, she's going to be great, and she's going to have Oscar consideration. Number 10, Brie Larson for The Glass Castle.
Are you serious?
Yeah, because
She's getting nominated.
Because kids are playing her character.
Look at her face!
Kids are playing her character.
Kids played Dev Patel's character.
Yeah, and he was supporting!
Yeah, well, she's gonna be somewhere.
If Dev was lead, he wouldn't have been nominated. And number 9, Frances McDormand in 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri, because she's gonna be fun, she's gonna be nutty. Frances McDormand hasn't been in a role so meaty in a long fucking time. The Oscars would love to see this comeback from her, and they could nominate her for it, but the movie is a little goofy, not necessarily the Oscars thing. Best Supporting Actress. Number 1, Michelle Pfeiffer in Mother. I don't know about you, but I can completely picture Michelle Pfeiffer going nuts in a Darren Aronofsky movie. I can very much picture this. And I can very much picture her getting Oscar Gold, potentially winning in this category. So number 2 in Supporting Actress is Mary J. Blige for Mudbound. We know that she's a standout among the supporting cast in this movie, and she's probably going to be the one that they campaign for. Carey Mulligan is also in Mudbound. People think she's going to get nominated because she's the well-known one out of the cast, but I don't see people talking about her performance as being one of the very best. She's obviously a good contributor to the cast, and she could be nominated, but I think Mary J. Blige takes priority, unless they want to nominate both of them. Michelle Williams is number 3 for The Greatest Showman, because the supporting actress slot in musicals has a lot of Oscar luck. She's going to be singing and dancing. They like it when people sing and dance. She's going to cry while she's singing. It's going to be like Anne Hathaway. She's overdue. She needs another nomination. She needs a win sometime. Could be this year. Who knows? Number 4, Kristen Wiig in Downsizing. Kristen Wiig, never been nominated before, comedic actress, but if you've ever seen a movie like The Skeleton Twins, she has a lot of talent as a dramatic actress. It's an Alexander Payne movie, so she's gonna cry at some point. Some people think she might be lead. The studio's probably gonna decide that her chances in supporting are much better. Number 5, Leslie Manville in Phantom Thread. I don't know anything about this movie. All I know is that this person is listed as second build on IMDb, and that Paul Thomas Anderson gets great performances out of his actors. So I have faith in whoever the fuck Leslie Manville is to give a great performance in Phantom Thread. Number 6, Catherine Waterston for The Current War. I don't know if this is just going to be another wah, I'm a wife, I support my husband role, which isn't really very meaty, or if Catherine Waterston can show off her talent in this role. So we'll have to wait and see. Number 7, Julianne Moore in Wonderstruck. Wonderstruck premiered at Cannes. Doesn't have as good reviews as Carol. It might get a couple technical nominations. Julianne Moore is supposed to be good in it, but I don't think that the performance is so strong that it's going to carry her all the way to the Oscars. But she's also in Suburbicon, so she could get nominated for that, depending on what that role is, I don't know. And finally, Naomi Watts in The Glass Castle. Okay,
She's gonna fucking cry. She looks old in it.
Yeah.
She's playing an old person. She
Yeah,
never
but guess
plays
what?
old people.
But guess what?
Yeah.
Guess who's gonna outshine her?
Who?
My number 1 on my supporting actor, Woody Harrelson. He's playing the alcoholic father, folks. He's playing the alcoholic father. Here he goes, Woody Harrelson, getting up on the Oscar stage. You can see it in your mind. He's gonna be insane. He's gonna be great. Layered after layer on this performance. Finally getting the Oscar Gold, which he is due. Even though Brie Larson might be the lead or the main character, he's actually going to be the one who's in the entire movie because he's the dad, and they can just age him with makeup instead of switching actors. Number 2, Ed Harris for Mother. Again, don't know what he's doing, don't know what kind of character he's playing. He's fucking Ed Harris. This is a Darren Aronofsky movie. He's going to go nuts. He's going to go nuts. Number 3, Jason Mitchell in Mudbound. Mudbound has multiple actors to pick from their supporting cast. Jason Mitchell is probably the one that the studio is going to campaign for, and one of the people who has the strongest performances in the movie. Jason Mitchell is known for his role as Eazy-E in Straight Outta Compton, which some people think he should have been nominated for, so this year he might actually get what he's been wanting. Number 4, Armie Hammer in Call Me By Your Name. It's not confirmed that Armie Hammer is in the supporting category, but it seems like the studio is going to decide that if they put him in lead, he's not going to get nominated, because he's not actually the lead. So if he gets in supporting, he'll probably get nominated. First nomination for him. Number 5, Michael Shannon in The Current War, who's playing Thomas Edison's rival or something, Benedict Cumberbatch's rival. Michael Shannon is obviously a great actor, and he does well in these supporting roles. He does very well in these supporting roles. He's a scene stealer. That's what he does. Number 6, Sterling K. Brown in Marshall. So he's been nominated for a Golden Globe. We know he's a good actor. I think he'll probably get nominated, honestly. I think he's going to get nominated for Marshall. But I have him at number 6 because you got tough competition here. Next, Oscar Isaac for Suburbicon or Annihilation. Don't know much about his roles in either of those, so can't say much. Idris Elba in Molly's Game. Aaron Sorkin written movies usually have good roles for actors, so we got him on there. And last, Rob Morgan for Mudbound, who some reviewers have been saying is the best supporting performance. Like Moonlight, there are a lot of performances you could pull from, and the studio's going to pick one to campaign for, and it's probably not going to be him because no one knows who he is. Best cinematography, Roger Deakins, Blade Runner 2049. Have you seen the trailer? He's been nominated 13 times, I think. 13 or 14 times, he's never won. And this could be his year. Denis Villeneuve working with Roger Deakins is always a match made in heaven. The last 2 movies he's done with Roger Deakins have been nominated with Roger Deakins. Colorful as shit, it's got all the cinematography, it's like cinematography jizz the entire movie. So Roger Deakins will probably win for Blade Runner 2049 finally. Number 2, Dunkirk. The cinematography in the trailer looks stunning. Even if the movie doesn't make it, they'll probably nominate it for cinematography anyway. I believe Interstellar was snubbed, which was kind of fucking weird, but it would be hard to doubt Dunkirk based on what we've seen from the footage. Number 3, Phantom Thread. Paul Thomas Anderson's movies always have great cinematography. This time, he's actually doing his own cinematography, or so I've heard, so it'll be interesting to see what kind of job he does, but I'm sure he's crafty and nifty with the camera. Number 4, Annihilation. Again, we don't know if it's coming out this year. But I heard that the trees in this movie are glowing and they're neon, and it's going to be really some weird colors. Ex Machina has some really good cinematography. It's a lot of outdoors shit, a lot of jungle shit, a lot of beach shit, and it's just going to be a really good looking movie. I think if this movie is anything of a contender, it'll be nominated for cinematography. And number 5, Mother. Like Black Swan, that was nominated for cinematography. Darren Aronofsky's movies always have interesting camera work and gross close-ups and stuff. So, number 6, Detroit. Looks like it has good cinematography. You know, it's not necessarily guaranteed that a Catherine Bigelow movie would get the nomination or not. Hurt Locker did. Zero Dark 30 did not. Number 7, The Current War. The cinematographer did Me and Earl and the Dying Girl, and a lot of Chan Wook Park's movies, like The Handmaiden and Old Boy, which are great looking movies. A lot of cool camera work in those movies will probably continue in this movie. He could get his first Oscar nomination for this. Number 8, Wonderstruck, which is a Todd Haynes movie. Same cinematographer as Carol. It looks like it has great cinematography. It has black and white scenes. Ding, ding, ding. Black and white. The Oscars love black and white shit. So it has some black and white scenes, some color scenes. The movie doesn't look to be as big of a contender as Carol. It's going to be a great looking movie. The Oscars are going to like it. It's going to be on 16mm or whatever the fuck. They're going to love the film look. They're going to love the black and white. It's going to be in a museum. They like that shit.
So put it higher.
No, because I think they'll snub it. Next is Suburbicon, because Robert Elswit is doing it. And he did a lot of Paul Thomas Anderson's movies. And finally, Darkest Hour, which is the Joe Wright movie. His movies always have fantastic cinematography, but this movie might suck and be weird, so they're not going to like it or nominate it. Mary Magdalene could also be nominated, but same cinematographer as Lion is back doing Mary Magdalene. Lion was nominated for cinematography, but, you know, I don't know. Mary Magdalene might be a weird movie, so who knows. A cinematography pick I forgot to mention, which should be a little higher, is The Papers. We don't actually know who's doing the cinematography. You'd think Janusz Kaminski, because it's Spielberg, would be confirmed to do it, but he's not. So I don't know if he's either not doing it, they're not telling us who, or if he is doing it, they're just not telling us. That movie seems like people walking around in an office kind of movie. So not necessarily a cinematography show-off like some other movies might be. So it wouldn't be in my top 5, but it's worth mentioning because it's Spielberg. Animated feature. Coco, number 1. Obviously, this is number 1. Why wouldn't it be? Pixar's doing a Day of the Dead movie. It's actually original. Thank goodness. Unlike Cars fucking 3. Will it be as good as Inside Out? Maybe, maybe not. No one knows. It's going to be a Good Dinosaur, probably better than that. So it'll probably be a good Pixar movie. Probably win the Oscar because there's actually not that much competition here. Or so it seems. Number 2, The Breadwinner. The people who did The Secret Life of Kells and Song of the Sea, an English language movie from overseas in Scotland. So, The Breadwinner is going to be nominated, clearly. However, the Oscars changed a rule in the animated feature category, so now everybody can vote for the animated feature award. Previously, only animation people could vote for animated feature, which might explain why the obscure foreign movies always get nominated. There's usually 2 foreign movies, I think I spit a little bit there, out of the 5 that are nominated in the animated feature category. Foreign or indie movies. So The Breadwinner looks to be one, but I think that this opening the vote up to everybody could hurt those movies because they don't know what they are. Next on the list, one of the Lego movies. We got the Lego Batman movie, which came out, was a good hit with critics. I think that would probably get nominated. It makes sense. The Lego movie didn't, but I think they'll be aware of that and put it on their fucking ballot this time. And they could forget about it, but since there's not that much competition here, they may nominate it, especially if it's better than the Ninjago movie. Both the Lego Ninjago movie and Batman could get nominated together, but they might want to pick the better one. I'm going to say Batman's going to be better than Ninjago. That's just a prediction. And next on the list is Loving Vincent, which we had last year. Didn't come out. It's the Vincent van Gogh movie that you've probably seen a video on Facebook about, but it doesn't actually have an official release date or a studio behind it, but it seems like a pretty ambitious project. Every frame of the movie is an oil painting in the style of Van Gogh, and it's a biography about Van Gogh. So if this movie actually gets a good release with a lot of people seeing it, I think the Oscar voters, and especially the animation department, would really like to nominate such a unique movie. And number 5, Despicable Me 3. I think the first 2 were both nominated. So I'm going to put the third one on here. It's about Gru and Gru's brother. Next is Captain Underpants, which has very good reviews, but didn't actually market itself that well. It was kind of low budget for an animation movie, didn't make a huge splash at the box office, but critics did dig it. The Peanut movie is from the same studio. That failed to get nominated. Goodbye, Peanuts. I don't think this movie will get nominated either, but it's here. Cars 3 is also on the list. Obviously, Cars 2 was stupid, and Cars 3 sounds stupider, but if they want to learn from their mistakes, maybe they'll make a good movie that is maybe as good as the first Cars, maybe better, probably not, probably gonna suck, so it's not on my list.
No, you need to put on your list just some Japanese shit.
I literally wrote some foreign shit.
No, Japanese shit.
Japanese shit? So last on the list is some Japanese shit. We don't know what fucking animated movies might be coming out of Japan, but they could nominate some Japanese shit. Last but not least, we have a section of what is not getting nominated that you think is getting nominated. Coco is, you might think that because a couple Pixar movies have been nominated that this will be nominated. Inside Out wasn't. Coco has to be like really fucking good to get nominated, and I don't know if it's gonna be like really fucking good. I don't think Coco will be nominated. The Beguiled came out at Cannes and it has good reviews, and people are like, oh my god, there are costumes in it, it's Oscar bait. Like, no, it's not Oscar bait, people. Sofia Coppola had one Oscar movie with Lost in Translation, but that had way better reviews than this movie, which although they're good, it's probably only gonna get costumes. It's only gonna get costume nomination. Okay, Wonder Woman, although Wonder Woman is better than other DC movies, it's still a fucking DC superhero shit. They don't nominate superhero movies. Every year they think, oh, this is the superhero movie, this is the superhero movie, they're gonna nominate. No, no, no. They're never gonna do it unless it's really good. And Logan is probably also on your list. Logan is also not getting nominated. Maybe Wonder Woman will get visual effects. Logan will go home empty-handed. So just don't count on it. Don't get your hopes up. I'm sorry you're a fanboy and you want those movies to get nominated, but it's just the Oscars aren't for you. So Wonderstruck also premiered at Cannes. It has a little bit of Oscar hype because it's a bubbly, has kids in it or whatever. But the screenplay was written by the guy who wrote Hugo. The book is magical and it's PG, but the reviews just aren't good enough. Sometimes people get very carried away when a movie gets good reviews at Cannes, it has a 70-something on Metacritic, the reviews are pretty good, I don't know what else is getting nominated because nothing else is reviewed, so this must get nominated. No! There are going to be way better movies that get released out throughout the year, so don't hold on to Wonderstruck, it's going down. Wonderstruck will probably get nominated for Best Score, because people really compliment the score, cinematography is very possible, and art direction is very possible. This movie might get a couple of those, but it's not going to get Best Picture. I don't know what the fuck Goodbye Christopher Robin is, but a couple of people have this on their list. And I'm just going to say, sorry, I don't know what that is, I don't care. It sounds like Saving Mr. Banks, which was Oscar bait that didn't get nominated. And why the fuck is this on your radar? No one cares. The Mercy, I actually had it on my list last year because I thought it was going to come out last year. It's about Colin Firth, circumnavigating the world. And it seems like an interesting movie. It's from the director of Theory of Everything. Rachel Weisz is in it too, but it doesn't seem to have any studio confidence.
Everyone who financed it knows that it's shit, and they're keeping it in a back room.
That's true. They're keeping it in a back
studio.
room. They obviously know it's not good. Something's up with it, and it's not good. It doesn't smell good. So The Big Sick is another movie that some people have on their list. Has really good reviews, but it is a rom-com. Will not play in the technical categories. Probably not good enough for acting categories. So it might get a screenplay nomination if it, really gets down to business. It might get a screenplay nomination. But other than that, The Big Sick is probably going nowhere. Victoria and Abdul has Judi Dench in it. She'll probably get nominated. But the movie, I know it's Stephen Frears and Philomena fucking got nominated for whatever the fuck reason because the Academy's old and it's their thing. But come on. Please, can Victoria and Abdul not get nominated? I don't think it will. But can it please not? Thank you. The Mountain Between Us is no, no, no. It looks like a fucking TV movie. Some people think that maybe the actors will get nominated, but that's also not happening. The movie's probably going to be weird. It's going to get like a 58 on Metacritic, and it's just going to be eh. And the performances are going to be like fine, but no one's going to give a shit. No one gives a shit. And that is the list. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for contributing to the 1,000 plus views on this video. Can't believe you watched the whole thing. I hope these predictions are right. Odds are I got like 4 of them. Actually, odds are I got less than 4, but come on. Call Me By Your Name, Mudbound, Downsizing the Papers, Blade Runner, like those will get nominated. So goodbye, adieu, good luck, and I love you.